Hello, good morning, guys. And yes, let's get on to the tutorial that many of you have been waiting for many years now. I uploaded a video back in 2019, this one, and also another one where I tried to emulate a 16mm film look. And everyone has been asking, how did you get the look in Premiere? So let me walk you through how I achieved the look in Premiere. I can't find the original files for this video, so let me just use two clips that have kind of a similar looking location and lighting and try to recreate the look with these shots. Try to get it as close to this as possible. These days I usually grade in DaVinci Resolve. If you haven't tried it, definitely try it because it's way more powerful than Premiere and you can get the look quicker and it's a more fun interface. So let's get right into it. So first, what you have to get right in the production stage, you have to shoot in 24 frames per second so that it looks like film. Any higher than that, like 30 frames, 60 frames, it will just look like video. Okay, not any faster, not any slower. 180-degree shutter. It just means your shutter speed should be your frames per second times 2. So your shutter speed should be 1/48. It can even be faster if you want, like 1/50, 1/90. It will give you a different look, a bit more jittery, but it will keep looking filmic. Never slower. So if your shutter speed is like 1/16, it's gonna look like video. The motion blur is just gonna be way off. So I like to keep mine when I shoot at 24 is 1/48 shutter speed. Again, keep your exposure on point. Depends on your camera. If your camera has, really good dynamic range when it's overexposed a few stops, then maybe do that. So check which is the optimal exposure for the camera that you have. Okay, let's get to post-production stage. LUT, color grade, 16mm grain, virtual diffusion, red halation, and optional flicker. These are the ingredients that make up my usual Premiere Pro quote unquote 16mm look. Okay? To keep in mind during the grade, it's not the technique, it's your eye. So even if I give you my technique, but your eye or your taste is different or is bad, then the grade is gonna look bad. So you have to just keep training your eye. How do you train your eye? Just keep grading, keep experimenting in your free time, keep color grading so that it becomes instinct and you don't have to think too much. Look at a lot of references. Like this is shot on 16mm. There's a lot of other music videos, films shot on 16mm. So you just gotta watch a lot of that stuff, use that as reference, and try to copy the color. That's how you train your eye. Just a lot of practice. Okay, so let's start with the LUT. So a lot of people, okay, let's put an adjustment layer. So a lot of people use LUT as their final look. I am 100% against that. The LUT shouldn't be your final look. It should be something that guides you towards the look, but it shouldn't be your final look. Uh, a good lot can get you like 50 to 70% there, but the final look is up to you and your grade, your skill. It's not a preset. It's not a it's not a magic bullet. So you just gotta find a lot that helps you get to where you want faster. So a good pack for LUTs is the Vision Color LUTs. You know, you get a lot of film emulation looks. Kodak 5207 is usually what a lot of modern film stocks shoot in. But what I used for this video is something a dude on the internet, a colorist named Juan Melara made. It's basically like a copycat of something called the Lidney LUT, which costs a lot of money. But a colorist online named Juan Melara um, recreated the LUT by himself, and this is what it looks like. Let's apply it to the second clip, and there it basically gets you really close to the look already. Okay, so I guess we're done with step 0, which is the LUT. Maybe lower the intensity a bit. I don't. A lot of people like to touch these sliders, but I usually don't. I just usually go straight to the curves and the color wheels. So scopes are your friend. What I think I did for this one was I lowered the highlights to like 90 IRE. And I think just like more tone. Let's check it out. Before, after. I think lower highlights gives it a bit of a moody, more filmic look. Nothing really scientific to that. It's just how I see it. I usually like bringing the shadows down, not too much. I don't want it too crushed. Up to you where you want the midtones to lie. I think that looks about right. That may be lower on the highlights. Again, this is where your eye comes in. A little testing. Yeah. It's basic. I think that looks good. So here, what we can see is I put some red in the highlights. That's why it kind of has that warm look. So let's put some red in the highlights. Zoom in a bit. So if we go way there in the pink, that's what it looks like. Go way in the green, that's what it looks like. maybe like here. There, we're pretty close already. Sometimes you gotta exaggerate it a bit and then tone down. And I think that looks pretty good. So this is the before, after, before, after. It's really up to you. Different types of film stocks have different looks. So we're not trying to replicate a specific film stock here. Just
Maayos eh, pero
and then I like to put a very common thing done in modern color grades is putting blue in the shadows. Just put a bit. And it helps add, visual interest to the shot. Maybe add a bit more warmth to counteract the blue shadows. There you go. And I might even add a bit of saturation to make it more colorful. So again, exaggerate, then tone back. Exaggerate, then tone back. I think 120 seems good. Maybe tone it down a bit. I wasn't too happy with how his skin tones looked, so I just adjusted it a bit, and I think this looks better, more natural. For the second clip, let's do something quick. Every shot is different, so you just gotta I think I remember when I did this video, I actually lowered the midtones. So that's why it looks kind of dark. So let's try it that way. And I think I actually raised the shadows. Again, it's quite a different technique from the first clip, where I raised the midtones, lowered the shadows, and lowered the highlights. So really it's up to you which looks good. I think I went overboard with lowering the midtones, so make it a bit higher. So first clip, different look. Second clip, closer to this video, I think, in my opinion. And you can see how imperfect this LUT is. It kind of messes with the reds on their skin tones, so I'm gonna tone it back a bit. And again, you know, if you have a different reference, maybe this one, the shadows are like way up. If you want to copy that, then just copy it. Yeah, but let's go back to a while ago. Okay, we're done with step 0 and step 1. Now let's add the film grain. Now there are a lot of packs online that provide film grain, different types of stocks, 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter. So it's really up to you which pack you have. But I got a free pack online, and if you want to get the same pack that I do, just leave me a message. But there are a lot of better packs online. As you can see, this free pack is just a 3-second clip. So what I'm going to do to make it longer is I'll actually nest it. And just copy paste. So now that it's a nested clip, I can just, there, make it longer. It's important that your grain is above the grade so that the grade doesn't affect the grain. Blending mode, I like setting it to overlay. And there, the grain really adds a lot to the texture. But that's too much. I usually leave it at like 60 opacity. That might be even too much, so you can bring it down to 50. And again, it's really up to you. Let me just fix this color here. There. I think that's way better than a while ago. Yeah. Now it's more vibrant. can even use the faded film effect if you want. Just add a bit of it. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Okay. Now, actually made a mistake. The diffusion should go before the grain. Okay, so put the grain above. And now let's do our diffusion layer. So this is one of the, I guess, quote unquote magic bullets. Make an adjustment layer. Uh, Rename it diffusion. Let's change the color so that we can differentiate it. Now in our diffusion layer, we want to add a Gaussian blur. Some people do fast blur because it uses yet less CPU space, but I use Gaussian blur. No real science to why, I just do it. Make sure repeat edge pixels is checked. Blurriness, I make it like 115 or like 155. Again, it's really up to you. Let's do 115 first. Then I bring the opacity down to maybe 5. Subtle difference. If you want more diffusion, of course you can add more opacity. It just adds kind of a glow to the image, lessens the digital sharpness of it all. Let's check it out in the second clip. I think that's way too much for the second clip. Bring it down to 5 maybe. I think that's enough. And if you change the blurriness, it also creates a different effect. You don't want it too high because it just smudges up the whole image. I like to leave it at 115 to like 155. And you can already see how it looks filmic. What I did was just simple. It already looks quote unquote filmic, I guess. Again, keep this in mind, it's not the technique, it's your eye. If you have a better eye than me, then this probably looks bad, or this probably looks bad. So just, just keep color grading to train your eye. And you know, if you want something quick, then this is it. Like, no need to add anything else. But if you're a bit nerdy, then we go to step 3, which is the halation. So halation is the kind of red glow you see in the brightest of highlights. So usually in a motion picture film, in the brightest of the highlights, you will see this kind of red glow around the highlight. So that's what halation is, and the way I achieve this in this video is kind of a tedious process. If you want to know how I did it, then just message me. But for this video, it's going to be a more simple process. Click Alt to duplicate. Click Alt to duplicate. So in the top video, go to Effects, search Channel Blur. Change blending mode to lighten, then add blurriness. So that's too much, of course. Just lower it. Really low. So that's 1. It's 3. You can see it in the highlights a bit here. And I think that already looks good. Second one, blending mode to lighten. Again, exaggerate, then tone back. Don't don't go overboard with it, or else it will turn into a 3D film. Let's change the grade a bit here. And you know, scopes are also your friend. Too much red in the shot, so I'll add some blue to balance it out. Blue in the shadows. Again, many different looks can be achieved. And if I think there's way too much red, I may go in the curves and maybe even isolate the reds and lower it. But yeah, whatever. I'm happy with how it looks now. Maybe too much blue, so let's tone it down. Yeah. Okay, we're done with step 0, 1, 2, and 3. And going back to step 0, no, remember, the LUT isn't the final look, but it can help you get there faster. Okay, this is the LUT that I chose, but there are so many LUTs out there that are way better than this one. Just for demonstration purposes, I used this LUT because this is the LUT that I used for this video right here. And then optional is flicker, which if you look at real 16mm footage, the exposure kind of flickers slightly. You may not want to add that for cleanliness, but if you want something a bit more exaggerated or in your face, let's add it. So let's add it now. Now this flicker overlay, I got it from a dude named uh, DSLR Video Guide, something like that. He's a big filmmaker on YouTube, and he also has a great video on 16mm, getting the 16mm look. Forgot which blending mode you're supposed to use, so we'll just do trial and error. Yeah, overlay. And there, the exposure changes slightly every few seconds, just like in real film. And you can tone it down if you want. I'll bring it down to 50. And it just really adds more texture to the thing. And yeah, that's your final look. Film. That's how you get a 16mm film look in Premiere without going to Resolve. Even though I highly recommend DaVinci Resolve, alright? So if you have any more questions, just comment below. I will get back to you. I will make sure it won't be another 2 years. Yeah, thank you. Happy filmmaking, happy color grading. Again, it's not the technique, it's your eye. Or if you've seen Top Gun Maverick lately, it's not the plane, it's the pilot. Right? Thank you. Like and subscribe.